Coahulla Creek Football Show, presented by Julian Peoples Funeral Homes.
Hello and welcome to the Coahulla Creek Football Show presented by Julian Peoples Funeral Home, coming off of Game 4 for our Coahulla Creek Colts here in the 2024 season. This week we took on the Sonoraville Phoenix, and Coach came out with a loss in this one, but finally broke through, got into the end zone for the first time this year. And honestly, the final score, in my opinion, was a little deceptive. We left what I thought was at least 10 points on the field. So one of those games where maybe the final score not indicative of how close this game really was.
No, I don't think so. Not to knock Sonoraville at it in any stretch of the imagination. They made plays and we weren't able to. But when you're looking at it with our kids of what we're looking to correct and how to build and progress going forward, you definitely feel that way. And you get the missed field goal at the end of the first half, which execution-wise, you felt pretty good about running them on with about 30 seconds left, and the operation was good, just didn't get the job done. And then we get the fumble down inside the 10-yard line, just stuff that you can't afford to do. And that was kind of the message after the game was that, when you turn the ball over like that, you don't finish drives offensively, and then you give up a handful of explosive plays defensively, you don't come out on top.
Yeah, looking at the offense, and we'll get into some kind of standout players from the game here in just a few moments. We drove the ball down inside their 30, I believe, at least 5 times, got the ball down inside the red zone 3 different times. So, that was the most that I've seen us be able to do that throughout the course of the year. Now, as you mentioned, the name of the game is finishing those drives offensively. And then I think defensively, that was more 3 and outs than we'd had all year. Several times we stopped them 3 and out, but Sonoraville, to their credit, is an explosive offense, and they were able to hit on a few of those. I think 3 of their 4 touchdowns went for 39 yards or further out. So it wasn't like they were driving the length of the field on us, kind of play to play. Our defense really was probably what I thought the best defensive performance of the year, but they were able to hit on some of those big plays.
Yeah, and that's kind of the name of the game in football right now is being able to win the turnover battle and win the explosive plays battle. And they did it, and we weren't able to. But probably the biggest take for us going forward is you feel like we started to find or establish an identity in both of those phases of the game. So that's how we're going to coach it, and that's how we're going to approach it going forward. And hopefully we've got some confidence in specific schemes and specific guys doing certain things, and hopefully a confidence builder going forward.
All right, Coach, let's get in and look at some of the key players from the game Friday night and some of the exciting plays. I'd say this is kind of the most highlight reel type plays that we were able to make throughout the course of the year, and not just because we got in the end zone. There were some the touchdown catch itself, which we'll show in just a few moments, was incredible. One-handed catch by Tyler, but that wasn't the only really highlight reel play from Friday night. So let's get into it here. Coach, looking at offense, so Tyler Douglas had an unbelievable night, had over 100 yards of total offense, 75 yards rushing on the ground, 52 yards through the air on only 2 catches. So really good, yards per catch average there. And then obviously the unbelievable touchdown grab in the end zone, which you'll see here on your screen. Really just kind of a Swiss Army knife on offense, Tyler is.
And that's kind of the expectation that we had for him going into the season. And like you're seeing right here, the touchdown catch is one of the better catches I've seen, period, especially in high school football. Great focus, great effort. He actually got that one of his fingers smashed between 2 face masks earlier in the week at practice. So he had those taped up and was a little sore and tender on that. We just reached out there and clawed it anyway. So kind of speaks to the toughness and kind of football player that he is. But yeah, it kind of goes back to us finding our identity. He's been really comfortable and gotten more confident running the football the last couple of weeks. And then just his ball skills and ability to make guys miss in space, speaks to why we want to be able to get him the ball in the passing game too. So just really good night for him, contributing to our team and to our offense.
Went up over the middle, made a big catch as well in the fourth quarter. I think that one was. And then in the third quarter had a really long run down the left sideline where he kind of stutter stepped, was able to pick up a first down, and he kept going. And that was a big offensive play that set us up with the drive in the third quarter where we got down inside first and goal. Another guy who was able to go up and make a big grab offensively was Elijah Faraji, making his kind of first appearance, we'll say, on offense this season.
Yeah, when he moved in late with the transfer, with moving in with Coach Collier and the family moving in, we didn't really want to overwhelm him, but we knew he was going to help us at safety, so we're trying to kind of bide our time there without overwhelming him with both sides of the ball. But it kind of became a necessity with Andrew Russell's injury kind of lingering. We needed him to help us in the slot at receiver. And he did that. Like I said, that great catch on the sideline and late in the fourth quarter that got us down there to get the ball in the end zone, and did some other good stuff. We had a pass interference on him in the first half where we were trying to get him the ball up the seam. Did a nice job blocking on the perimeter. So looking for some more big things for him to be able to contribute to our offense.
And he's one of those guys where kind of like Tyler Douglas, too good an athlete to keep off the field. He kind of fits that mold too. He's just an all-around good athlete, and it was only a matter of time before he was starting to see some reps on offense too.
Yeah, and he picks things up too. Mentally, he's got some football savvy, so makes it easier to come up with some things to really go with his skill set and be able to get the ball to him.
And then elsewhere offensively, kind of the guys who have been models of consistency from the receiver position are two leading receivers this season in both catches and yards are Wyatt Main and Kobe King. They had solid nights as well. Kobe broke out and got a nice long run after catch, and then Wyatt broke a couple of tackles and almost got in the end zone.
Yeah, and that's the things we've been wanting to see out of those guys. Some of it's their confidence and being able to get them the ball consistently and then be in the flow of the game. And we haven't been able to do that. And receivers are an easy position to, if you don't get them involved, it's hard for them to be in the flow of the game. And I feel like we were able to do that. And then they were able to show their skill set and really help our offense. Kobe's that guy, like we're seeing on the screen. He can make some guys miss. He's got a nice burst, as we've seen. And then Wyatt, that's exactly what we're hoping to see out of him. Big physical wide receiver that's hard to bring down by DBs. He does a good job using his stiff arm. And he kind of turns into a big tight end when the ball gets into his hands.
He's kind of what I would consider to be Wyatt, kind of that old school traditional split end, big, tall, physical guy out on the perimeter. And there's been multiple occasions where he's kind of caught those kind of shorter 5 to 10 yard passes, and it's taken multiple of the other teams. You just see that other team's uniform swarming to him, and it takes 3, 4, 5 guys to get him down. And a lot of times they don't get him down. They wind up calling the play dead for forward progress. So that happened a couple of times against Chattooga. It happened against Sonoraville on Friday.
Yeah, that's kind of, like I said, that's kind of what we expected going into the season. You're talking about, 6'1", 6'2", 195-pound receiver that also plays outside linebacker who is not afraid of contact, invites it, and challenges tacklers. So exactly what we're hoping for out of him, and hopefully we see even more of that going forward.
Now, with all the plays you've seen on the screen from the highlights, you've seen Waylon obviously throwing the ball, but he continues to get more and more comfortable in the running game. One thing I was really excited to see from him was not necessarily the designed runs, but a couple of times he was able to scramble out, picked up a first down on a key third down at one point in the game. I think it was twice. I think his 2 longest runs were actually on scrambles.
Yeah, and kind of speaks to him being comfortable of what he's seeing and the speed of the game. A lot more decisive. Obviously, in the past game, we saw the ball get out of his hands really quickly quite a few times to the guys we just finished talking about, Kobe and Wyatt, help them get yards after the catch. But his decisiveness is getting better and better each week. And I feel like those plays, like we're talking about, when he's third down, we got to throw it. We get some pressure, and he pulls it down quick and makes a great decision. But, also made a couple of really nice plays in the pocket. I feel like moving when maybe other young guys or maybe early in the season, he may try to run it, but he steps up in the pocket, makes the throw. He missed one to Jackson Lowry that he should have made. And he ends up making one a couple of plays later to tie it on the one-handed catch. But the fact that he's a sophomore and he's willing and courageous enough to step up into that pocket and then make the right decision, whether it be throw the ball down the field or scramble decisively, is a good sign that he's progressing.
Yeah, on the play that the touchdown catch, obviously a lot of attention goes to Tyler for the one-handed catch there. But if you look at the field level highlight that our videographer Brad Sloan shot, you can actually see Waylon really well from that perspective. Step up in the pocket, just slightly glances downfield to see Tyler, and then just flicks the wrist down there and gets it to him in the end zone. That was really that's an example of what you're talking about there. And stepping up and having poise in the pocket, he kind of shimmied around two guys to step up and make that throw.
Yeah, and that's a tough thing for guys to learn. A lot of guys have that feel and they don't, but a lot of young guys like him, their first instinct is they want to run outside of that stuff. But he's got a natural feel, and he's courageous, so he's doing a good job of stepping up and keeping the play alive.
Now let's switch over to the defensive side of the ball, and a really good effort. As I kind of mentioned, kind of down to down, the defense at points dominated the game. They forced several 3-and-outs. It was just kind of the big play bug that bit us a few different times. Couple of chunk plays and a couple of those plays obviously turning into long touchdowns. But there were they didn't have any issue getting comfortable into the game. I think first drive Sonoraville came out, and I'd watched some film on them too. They kind of had a couple of wrinkles that I hadn't seen, where they motioned a running back out, run a deep post off of it on the open play of the game. That's just a good scheme from just kind of a 10,000 foot view on that. That was just a really well drawn up play, but they didn't have any issues getting comfortable in the game, and they really up front, I felt like they were able to really dominate the line of scrimmage at times.
Yeah, those three guys that we've talked about since fall camp are continuing to impact the game, and they impacted it Friday night on a consistent basis in the run game, because there wasn't a lot of consistency in their run game. I feel like we did a good job of plugging the gaps, making plays at the line of scrimmage or in the backfield. And then to that same note, I don't think that the quarterback was consistently comfortable back there. And when that's the case, it's got to be Chevy Joyce, Kobe Ewert, Jackson Lowry affecting that.
Yeah, both Jackson had a huge sack in the first half, and then also Chevy had a big tackle for loss in the first half as well. One thing I thought the defense did a really good job of too was holding the big tight end, Kamen Reynolds, in check. He was almost a non-factor in the game. I think he had a couple of catches, but no touchdowns. I think his catch total was down under 20 yards. I thought that I thought we did a really good job of taking him out of the game, and they really had to rely on their other playmakers to make plays.
Yeah, and that's huge when you go into a game like that, because they got a lot of different ways that they try to get him the ball. And I think we talked about it on the show last week, looking into the game. They put him at a fullback like we use. They'll split him out at wide receiver, and also he's obviously plays a traditional tight end spot, and he gets the ball in all three of those spots. So, our defensive staff, tip of the cap to them of having our guys prepared for it, but then us being conscious enough in the game to understand where he is and make sure that we're aware of that. But, tip of the cap to Sonoraville for having other guys that were schemed up and made the plays during those times. So, but good on both ends there.
Okay, when we come back, we are going to peek ahead at our upcoming opponent, Rockmart, as we'll have them back home at the Creek for our second straight home game. Also, we're going to take a look at a couple of season stats to this point, a couple of notes on that front as well. That'll be when we come back. During the break, you'll see this week's senior spotlight, which will be Jaden Sylvia. Stick around. This is the Coahulla Creek Football Show presented by Julian Peoples Funeral Home.
This is your Alpha Insurance Player of the Week.
Introducing BioLite, the world's first IV in a bottle. BioLite is a medical-strength hydration solution physician-formulated to help relieve the discomforts of dehydration, like upset stomach and fatigue. If you want powerful hydration relief, try it today.
Whether you're looking for a taste of classic seasonal sweetness or need to satisfy your candy cravings, DQ has something for every fan this season. So hurry into DQ on Cleveland Highway today and see what else is in store for fans all season long.
Junior's Building Materials, the Tri-State's headquarters with building products for builders, contractors, remodeling projects, and do-it-yourselfers. Junior's is the largest dealer stocking Trex Decking, the world's #1 composite decking brand. Trex isn't just boards and balusters, but a new way to live outdoor and virtually maintenance-free. For all your building or remodeling needs, shop Junior's Building Materials.
Junior's Building Materials, we always come through for you.
Now for this week's Senior Spotlight.
Hey, my name's Jaden Silvius. I play fullback and linebacker. Just playing with my friends, the motivation from them. I like feeling that, like being connected with them. Just felt good. Probably during youth camp when Coach E had all the kids doing up downs after they kept messing up. Their loyalty, like, no matter what you're going through or something, they're always there. They're helping you. I like working on cars, helping my dad build stuff, just yard work. Probably my sister. She, no matter what, she's always been there. Like lowest of lows, highest of highs. She's always there to support me. Just to drive to be good, to success. Just know that I can go out there and help other people succeed. I want to do something with cars, go to trade school, be a mechanic.
Welcome back into the Coahulla Creek Football Show presented by Julian Peoples Funeral Home. Coach, we have the Rockmart Yellow Jackets coming to the Creek this week, our second of kind of a 3-game homestand here, as we'll, after not playing a home game for almost a month, now we've got 3 in a row plus a bye week where we'll kind of be at home for now almost an entire month if you look at it from a calendar perspective before we head back out on the road on October 11th at Murray County. But Rockmart, we obviously know what they bring to the table. This is not on paper hasn't looked like the same level of Rockmart team that we expect to see, but they're 2-0 in region play. You know, they're battle tested because they started with Cedartown and Cartersville to start the year. That's kind of been the thing that people have talked about. Oh, this Rockmart team is down for their expectations, but that still means they're a good football team.
Yeah, you gotta obviously put that caveat in there when you talk about them, is they may be a little bit down for their expectations, but that doesn't mean that they're not down or they're not up for the rest of our region. They're very talented on both sides of the ball at just about every position, and they present a lot of challenges.
Yeah, they're a young group like we are. They graduated a massive senior class last year from that state runner-up team that they had. So they've had a lot of the pieces that they've been trying to replace through the first 4 weeks of the year. It looks like they've kind of been in a similar boat from the standpoint of trying to find their identity, what they're comfortable running. What have you seen from them so far in the film that you've been able to watch to this point?
The biggest, I guess, difference is that, I've played them since dating back to my time when I was at Pepperell as an assistant. But seeing them out of their gun wing tee stuff right now, they're a little more spread. They've got a quarterback that they feel like can distribute that ball outside more than they have in the past. So they're trying to spread the ball around, and they've got some talented receivers. As always, they've got some talented backs, but seeing them out of that wing tee gun is kind of a shocker. Almost had to do a double take when I first saw it on film from them. But, like always, they've got really good skill players all over the field that are tough to tackle in space.
Yeah, they won 23-20 a couple of weeks ago in overtime against Ringgold. That game was on the road. Last week back at home, won 26-12 over Union County. And now they'll come up here for the third region game of the season. Looking at some of the team stats to this point in the year, something that kind of stuck out to me was the overall team number for this and a couple of individual standouts. We have 20.5 tackles for loss as a team to this point in the year through the first 4 games. And that, included in that stat is sacks, but that's also run plays that are tackles in the backfield. And in our case, a few times that's been our defensive backs blowing up screen plays, little, bubble screens, tunnel screens out to the receivers. That's a big number. That's averaging over over 5 tackles for loss a game. That's big when you can create those negative plays defensively.
Yeah, and like we mentioned earlier, with the kind of the name of the game of being explosive plays, that's kind of the explosive plays on the defensive side, right? Is getting the offense off sequence and getting them behind the sticks now, because offenses are so explosive. But when you can get them into predictable downs and distances, that's such an advantage for our defense. So it's almost encouraging, and it's a learning experience for us too, because heck, we're getting them in good situations. We're not finishing drives and getting off the field. So it speaks to we're doing the right things. We got to do it more consistently. If we can do our job after we make those plays and finish those third downs and get a punt rather than, prolonging the drive, I feel like that's going to get us over the curve or over the hump.
Yeah, and specifically one of the players that is a standout in this category. Last year we had Levi Lowry tie a school record for 12 tackles for a loss. He had 5 in one game against Ridgeland. He was all region, first team all region last year. And his brother, he's got 2 brothers on the team still. Jackson, we know how good he is. He's very disruptive from his defensive line position. He started last year as a sophomore. Well, their younger brother, Branson, is starting as a sophomore for the first time. He's got 5 tackles for loss through the first 4 games. If you break that down and project that out, he's actually on pace to break his own brother's school record if he can continue this throughout the course of the year. Hey, that's just a good pedigree there, it appears, from the Lowry perspective. But he's having a strong start to the season for his first year starting on varsity.
Yeah, obviously he's a sophomore, so he has his sophomore moments, but the ceiling is extremely high for him because when he sees things right, his athletic ability and his physical nature is able to just take over, and him being an instinctual football player. And he's very, very disruptive for an offense. He runs well, so he's a good blitzer. He's kind of got that feel of how to avoid blockers, and continues to be an asset for our defense.
All right, when we come back, we will wrap up the show by talking about a few kind of community notes as we'll look back to rec and middle school night. And then we have elementary school night coming up this week at the Creek. We'll feature all of our feeder school elementary programs. Stick around. This is the Coahulla Creek Football Show presented by Julian Peoples Funeral Home.
Your roof is the most critical part of your home, especially in the heat of the summer. That's why OC Roofing Systems is offering free roof inspections all summer long. Families in LJ have trusted OC Roofing Systems time and time again for our award-winning service and countless 5-star reviews. Protect your roof this summer. Visit ocroofingsystems.com today and schedule your free roof inspection.
Nature never repeats itself, and neither does Mohawk's Techwood hardwood flooring. Techwood is unique and one of a kind. Your floor should be long-lasting and beautiful, like the relationships you create at home. Choose Techwood for a stunning, natural hardwood floor for everyday performance. More moments are made on Mohawk.
Welcome back to the Coahulla Creek Football Show, presented by Julian Peoples Funeral Home. Coach, kind of a fun community aspect to the games this past week and this upcoming week, with a lot of little ones running around out there from elementary school age standpoint, as well as our middle school football team this past week. You mentioned you thought it was a really good crowd, a really good turnout from our future Colts football players that were present at the game Friday night. They got to run on the field and be recognized. They led the team out of the tunnel, the big Colt tunnel. That's always an exciting thing, and you love to see the turnout. Was that one of the better ones that you've seen in your time there?
I think so, when you just look at a numbers standpoint. And it is special because we're still such a young school, and, our alumni base is not to the point where their kids are coming through here yet. So getting that established and seeing the kids and their parents excited about those kids coming through and being Colts in the future is extremely exciting. And, we've talked about it a lot of times in the way we promote ourselves on social media and the website. You feel like we've got a lot of things that puts our hands in the community and brings them in and has a lot of involvement in both directions. So being able to get them here on campus and be around our kids and our coaching staff and be a part of a Friday night is extremely exciting. And seeing them around, we just love doing that.
Yeah, and speaking of community, another community building event opportunity this Friday night, where every kid that is a student at one of the elementary schools that feeds into eventually North Whitfield and then eventually Coahulla Creek High School has an opportunity to come out and watch the football game, and not only come to the game, but free admission. Yeah,
our athletic director, Mr. Wood, shares the vision that I do with that of getting the excitement from those feeder schools of those kids being at Coahulla Creek in a few years. So those tickets went out to the elementary schools early this week so that they can get those passed out in their homerooms or however they do it and get them in the gate for free. So get those parents, come with them, fill our stands up.
All right, that will do it for this week's edition of the Coahulla Creek Football Show. For Coach Drew Carter, I'm Brooks Carter. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you same time, same place here next Tuesday night on our YouTube channel. You can follow it and subscribe. And as always, follow us on all of our social media platforms to keep up with content and news. And come see us Friday night at the football game. Kickoff at 7:30 versus the Rockmart Yellow Jackets. We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.